Let's bring in Democratic Governor J.B. Pritzker of Illinois. Good morning, Governor. Let's just get this out of the way. You were one of several people being floated as a possible VP pick. I know you said you don't want to discuss private conversations, but have you submitted any vetting paperwork, talked to Kamala Harris about it at all?
Well, certainly I've talked to Kamala Harris last week, of course, as things were evolving. Had a great conversation with her, and I pledged to her that no matter what the outcome of this process, that I'd be working hard for her and making sure that she wins in November. It's too important. We've got too much at stake, not just democracy, and we've talked about that, and it's not a small topic, but also making sure that we're securing women's right to choose, to make sure that we're fighting for working families, that we're raising wages across the United States and growing the economy. And that's what she's been doing along with our group.
But Governor, let me ask you again, have you submitted any vetting paperwork?
Well, like I said, I'm not going to talk about that. I am going to talk about what I think is important in this campaign, and that's winning, beating Donald Trump, standing up for democratic values.
Okay, Governor, this week, the Arizona Democratic Party endorsed Senator Mark Kelly for VP. Pennsylvania Democrats endorsed Governor Josh Shapiro, and North Carolina Democrats endorsed Governor Roy Cooper, arguing that their respective choices would push these battleground states in Democrats' favor. How important do you think the battleground consideration is when choosing a vice president?
Well, winning those battleground states is most important. There's no doubt. But I think we've seen over the last, decades that who you pick as your vice president doesn't determine whether you're going to win a state or not. What it does determine is whether you've got the message right across the board. And of course, I'm very proud of what we've done here in Illinois. We've banned book bans. We've banned assault weapons. We've stood up for a woman's right to choose, not just for people in my state, but for people from around the country who need to exercise those rights somewhere. And we've become an oasis for that. And of course, we've grown the economy and grown jobs. And so I'm very pleased with the progress that we've made here and all the things that we've put into place in Illinois, like raising the minimum wage to $15. Those are all things that I think that we should be doing nationally.
And I'm sure these latest polls about Kamala Harris are heartening to you and other Democrats. But do you see that bump as more a relief that Joe Biden got out of the race or a strong endorsement of Kamala Harris, who, as we mentioned earlier, had dropped out of the 2020 race very early?
Look, the electorate is energized. Democrats are ready to go. You've seen hundreds of thousands of people signing up to volunteer. Plus, our candidate is the Energizer Bunny. She's been everywhere all the time over the last several days. And we're excited about that, to get to see her in the battleground states and all over the country. And her message is one that I think resonates with people. One of those things, of course, is pointing out the differences between these two candidates. I mean, on the other side, they're just weird. I mean, they really are. The things that they stand for. Donald Trump, of course, is afraid of windmills, and he talks about all kinds of crazy stuff. His running mate, as you probably have heard, is getting known for his obsession with couches, and somebody who is hiding his views on a woman's right to choose. And then just broadly, the attack on people who are childless and saying that we had to raise taxes on childless people, calling them cat ladies. I think, he apologized to cats, but he hasn't apologized to women.
And I just want to go back to Harris. Aside from her relative youth, what is it that she brings to this race that Joe Biden did not?
I want to back up and just a little bit talk about your question, because to be frank with you, we all have an enormous reverence for what Joe Biden has done. He'll go down in history as one of the great presidents and a person willing to make a sacrifice because he knows that we've got to beat Donald Trump. Now, what does Kamala bring? I mean, first of all, I talked about the energy, but second, remember, this is a person who is a prosecutor. She's somebody who understands that making the case is how you win. that going out there and every day prosecuting the case, especially against a 34-time convicted felon and, frankly, a congenital liar, that's something that she's done in a courtroom. She's done it as Attorney General, and now she's doing it as a candidate for President of the United States.
I know the Democrats are getting the message out that you're trying to get out here as well. But when you talk to voters, it's the economy. I know inflation is down. I know you're going to talk about that, but people see grocery bills going up. They saw gas bills going up during the Biden-Harris administration. And then there was the disaster on the border. Again, that is improved, but that is something she is going to have to defend.
Well, I think what you're pointing to is the issue of affordability broadly, and that's something Democrats have been fighting for, making sure that we're bringing down the cost of goods at grocery stores. Kamala Harris and Joe Biden together have fought to bring down gas prices, have fought to bring down the cost of goods, and I've been amazed, actually, at the work that they've done. Think about this. They're canceling medical debt, something that we did here, I think, first in the nation in Illinois, canceling medical debt that people have had on their records for so long. You can buy that debt down and extinguish it for, a penny on the dollar. That's one of the ways in which we're making life more affordable for working families.
I want to do immigration. I want to look at immigration. She was supposed to get to the root of that problem. Did she? Are you pleased with what you did? Because you wanted more money there in Illinois. You wanted more federal money because of the number of migrants coming to your state.
Yeah, an enormous problem. And let me just say, we got left this problem by the former president, Donald Trump. And so, look, they worked on it together, this administration, and then came to an agreement with Republicans in the legislature, in the Congress, rather. And guess what? Republicans were willing to work with Democrats to get something done. And you know who blew that up? Who blew up the opportunity for border security? It was Donald Trump. He's the one who went to the Republicans against one of his own leaders, Lankford.
Did Democrats plan well enough for that? Did Democrats plan well enough for that, or are they too dependent on that legislation?
How do you plan well enough that having a former president come and tell all the Republicans to walk away because they want to make it a political issue? The fact is that there's only so much that a president can do by executive order. That's why he went to the Congress. That's why they went and asked for bipartisan legislation, which they were on the verge of getting done, but Republicans walked away. They don't really want to solve this problem. They just think they want a political issue. The reality is it's going to boomerang back on them because they're the ones who created the issue in the first place during Donald Trump's term, doing absolutely nothing about it, and then walking away when we had an actual solution on the table.
Okay, Governor, I thank you for that. It's going to continue to be an issue, no doubt. We'll see you there in Chicago in a few weeks.